Hej och välkomna tillbaka. Vi fortsätter med Småbolagsdagen och vi lämnar nu över ordet till området förnyelsebar energi och Christian Zahler in Germany. Welcome. Did you hear me?
Hello, welcome everybody. Hello from Freiburg. My name is Christian Zahler. I'm the CEO of the Industrial Solar Holding Europe, and I'm going to make a presentation together with my colleague Daniel Pfeifle, who's the managing director of Solar Spring. So, solar heat, clean water, and eventually more in the future for industry. Who are we? What are we doing? Industrial Solar Holding Europe AB holds 100% of Industrial Solar GmbH in Freiburg and recently also acquired 100% of Solar Spring, also located in Freiburg. The holding is listed on Spotlight Stock Exchange since January 2019. And the subsidiaries, Industrial Solar GmbH, is basically a turnkey provider for solar process heat systems for industrial customers. So we are offering tailor-made solutions for industry based on a broad technology portfolio. Solar Spring is an international pioneer in the field of membrane distillation, and they offer solutions for wastewater and drinking water. Where do we come from? The whole story behind is that industry is responsible for about 1/3 of the global energy demand. And surprisingly, 75% are approximately needed in form of thermal energy, and only 25% are required in form of electric energy. And nowadays, when we talk about renewable energy, everybody thinks immediately of electricity. But as a matter of fact, heat is very, very important and is responsible for a huge share, a huge fraction, and also for huge emissions. So far, heat in industry is basically generated with fossil fuels, and we want to help industry to move in the next era, in the next century, and use renewable energy, solar energy, for their process heat demand. Here is a more detailed analysis of this process heat demand. So 1/3 is approximately required by industry, 74% heat, 26% electricity. You see here 45% are covered with coal, 30% in natural gas, 15% oil, and then come a few renewable. Interesting is also the differentiation in terms of temperature. About 30% are required in the low temperature range up to 150 degrees. Then comes a fraction of about 22% in the medium temperature demand up to 400. And the rest, almost half of it, is the high temperature heat demand, like for metal and glass production or processing. With our technologies, we're addressing the low and medium temperature range, which is roughly 50% of the total. Industry is going to grow. This is the prediction, but it's not going to grow in Europe. It's not going to grow in Germany and not in Sweden. It's going to grow in the emerging markets. And emerging markets like Africa or India or other parts in Asia or Latin America are typically more sunny than Central Europe. And this is an excellent basis for our business model and our technologies. Few words about our flagship technology. So our in-house technology that we are offering to our customers is the Framel Collector, our so-called LF11 Fresnel. It's designed to meet the power demand of industry. So it's big enough to generate megawatts, and it's still small enough to be installed on flat rooftops of industrial buildings. It can generate temperatures up to 400 degrees C. It can be operated with different heat transfer fluids, with thermal oil, liquid water under pressure, or generate steam directly. Here you see how it works. We have a field of primary mirrors. They are unilaterally tracked, and they focus the sunlight onto a secondary mirror and absorber tube, and there the radiation is converted to heat and then taken to the application in the factory. And this modular design, we design this modular concept, we connect to strings up to 24 modules, which is like 100 meters. Here is one example. That's a system installed in Jordan at JTI. It's a collector field with 1,254 square meters, which is generating steam up to 225 degrees C and has a thermal power of more than 700 kilowatt. And we have also installed an absorption chiller, which is partly converting the heat to cold. One very important argument selling this technology is that we integrate on supply level. We are not tackling the process, but we are directly connecting to the heat source of the customer, which is the fossil-fired boiler. This makes integration much easier and simpler. Here you see some results of a life cycle analysis recently made by the Paul Scherrer Institute in Switzerland. This was very interesting to work with these scientists there. And it came out that our Framel Collector is extremely environmentally friendly. So you see here different impact categories. And the bright blue is the Framel Collector. So the only exemption is the carcinogenic effects, which is due to the stainless steel that we use. It's basically the production of chromium for stainless steel. And this we can significantly reduce either by longer lifetime or by partly using black steel, which is then galvanized. But in all other categories, we were basically among the best or the very best. Last but not least, some words about energy contracting. This is a major issue. Industry wants to reduce its emission, but it doesn't have the liquidity to invest directly in renewable energy systems. There is a lot of capital on the market that has to be invested, in green technologies. And by matching the financial investors with our industrial customers, we can kickstart a whole industry. And we have recently signed an agreement with Geotherm, which is one of the investors and financial partners in this area. So much about Industrial Solar GmbH. I want to now hand over to Daniel Pfeifle, who will explain you what SolarSpring is doing. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Christian. So, good afternoon from my side. Also, a very warm welcome from Freiburg. My name is Daniel. I'm the CEO of SolarSpring, and I'm very honored to tell you about our company, what we are doing, what we are approaching, and give you a little insight in where we come from. As you know already from Christian, we are also a spin-off from the Fraunhofer Institute in Freiburg. We are a German manufacturer of membrane systems for all different kind of water treatment systems. We already have installed in over 20 countries worldwide our units, and we are definitely a pioneer in the commercializing of membrane distillation. To do that, we have a brilliant, highly skilled team of engineers and scientists, and of course also marketing experts who work on that topic. The technology we use to treat water is membrane distillation. It's not very well known at the moment because there are only 3 companies worldwide who can actually build such modules, and SolarSpring is one of them. But it's a pretty simple technology when you explain it and don't go into detail so much. So what we use is a membrane you see in the middle where vapor goes through, and every one of you probably has such a membrane at home in their outdoor jacket, like from Gore-Tex, for example. That's exactly what we use. So, and with that membrane, we can separate like pure water from really, really dirty industrial streams. And what is the nice side of those modules? They don't have pressure inside, so it's a pressureless system. They are not noisy at all, so it's really also easy to implement in industry, and they have a low maintenance intervals because they are really simple technology. They are specially made for high salts because they're only made out of polymers, so there are no metals at all, so no corrosion can happen. They are specially made for acids because they are made of polymers, and because we can recover valuable resources with such modules, with that technology, we can save money. The integration into existing waste heat networks in companies or with renewable energies is pretty simple because it's a dynamic system, so we don't need steady operation. We can adjust to the heat which is available on site. So there are no additional CO2 emissions, and we can help to that circular economy, to close loops, basically. The potential is really, really huge. That's from 2017, from Roland Berger's study. So the market volume for REVAP, the membrane distillation technology, is huge. It really just depends on how fast we can bring that technology into the market, and we are on a really, really good way at the moment. The applications are at the moment, and there's a wide range, but what we are focusing at the moment is the electroplating industry. So we can recycle acids in the galvanic industry, for example, or where metals are plated, the surface are plated. We are in the PCB industry, so we have a case at the moment where we reuse gold, palladium, and other valuable metals. The zero liquid discharge industry it's always a big name, but basically it just means that no liquids are coming out of the industry at the very end, and their membrane distillation will play a big, big role for sure. And the last market where we are in at the moment is the food and beverage, so we can just concentrate very gently any kind of liquid which is used in the food and beverage industry. The references for MD, there are also many. There are, for example, AT&S, it's an Austrian company which produces, and which is one of the biggest company in Europe, which produces those printed boards for computers and all different kind of electronic devices. And we have a unit running there since 1.5 years. Electroniquel, a Spanish company, they do metal plating. We have a unit there, and it's used for recovery of sulfuric acid, which is an acid which is used all over the world when it comes to treating plates. And at the Deutsche Edelstahlwerke, they produce stainless steel. We do recovery of mixed acid. And for all those applications, only membrane distillation with the polymer modules really work. The other technology what Solar Spring provides is the ultrafiltration. So we use that technology as for drinking purpose. So we have from really small to big units, we have all different kinds, and it's a solar powered compact system. And we call it a multi-MBS, a multi-barrier system, because we use up to 5 stages for cleaning any kind of dirty water. So that means at the end, the customer has clean water, and it's also equipped with a monitoring system. It can send you an SMS or an email and tell you to clean it or to change modules or whatsoever. And it was specially built and constructed for India, which is a really, really harsh market and conditions. And so we have a lot of systems installed all over the world which run on that technology. So here you see the range. So it starts with mobile systems, which can be used for camper events or small houses, and it does up to 5,000 liters per day. It comes with a solar field. You can just put it out in the sun, and then you have clean drinking water. The economic systems do up to 21,000 liters per day. It's more for big houses and small villages. And then we have the complete system, we call it. It does up to 100,000 liters per day. All those systems use the same technology and can run on solar, but of course also can be connected to the grid. References for those units are, for example, which is a really nice references we did together with the Siemens Stiftung in Kenya. And there they got the permission to get the water from the Lake Victoria, and they are providing up to 6 hubs where they sell water to the people and also use solar power to charge mobile phones or whatever kind of batteries. In the Black Forest, we have some applications where we clean the water, which is actually all right, but has still some bacteria in it, so you can basically not drink it. We installed a couple of units where we supply restaurants and guest rooms and farms. Those, as you see, there are many more references all over the world. And that technology, the ultrafiltration technology, is we sell by resellers all over the world, and we do some installations ourselves, which are in Germany, but that's a product which goes over the resellers. So the synergies between those companies in industrial solar and Solar Spring is pretty simple. They produce heat. We need heat to supply our membrane distillation system, and almost 80% of the industry, they need process heat and process water. So that's where we come together, and where we also have huge potential for marketing strategies and our marketing, so that's actually from my side. I see I was actually too fast. I have 3 minutes left. So maybe Christian wants to add something.
Yeah, we were both really fast. I was trying to hurry up to give you more time, and now we have a couple of minutes left. Maybe I can comment a little bit on this strategy that we now follow. Yes. Industrial Solar acquired Solar Spring to make exactly use of that mentioned synergies. It was very interesting to learn that about 80% of industry that needs heat for its production also uses water, and that's easily understood when you think of different industries like food industry. They are boiling some kind of vegetables and then they deep freeze them for convenience food or whatever. Beverage industry, plenty of industries out there who need clean water and clean energy for the future. So this is exactly what humankind needs to survive: clean energy and clean water, and industry as well. And I hope that we can make use of that plenty of contacts to multinationals that we have. And if we are not able to sell them yet a process heat system, then we might be able to sell them some water treatment system. And we are on the way to become a one-stop shop for industry that wants to be clean and green. And together with Solar Spring, we are now in the position to offer more holistic solutions. So not only tackling the topic of energy, but also tackling wastewater treatment or water filtration for the processes. And I do like especially the membrane distillation, because it typically solves 2 problems at a time. So you are cleaning your wastewater stream, like with this PCB production in Austria. So they have basically some gold in those chemicals that they use for the production. and I think it's a gold cyan chemical. So I think it's not so good if this would go to the wastewater stream, and at the same time it's expensive. So they are solving the issue of wastewater, and at the same time they are recycling expensive components of their wastewater stream, which is excellent. And if we can power this technology with waste heat or low-grade solar heat, it's even better. So I hope that we will have a bright future together, Solar Spring and Industrial Solar. Thank you.
Thank you, Christian.
Thank you very much, Christian and Daniel, for a very interesting presentation. I have a couple of questions, if I may. You talked a little bit about your merger, and I just have a little follow-up. Have you created any cost savings, or is it mainly on the sell side that you see your synergies from this merger?
First of all, it's not a merger. No. So the companies are still independent. There's Industrial Solar GmbH and Solar Spring GmbH.
Yeah.
There are two independent legal entities, and both are 100% owned by the Swedish holding, which is listed on the Spotlight Stock Exchange.
Yeah.
But of course, we want to make use of synergies, especially in terms of sales. We are currently evaluating joint activities in digital marketing and some other activities, and we expect to have some cost advantages, cost savings in the near future. So we're working on it.
Very interesting. Do you see more opportunities like this? Is it more technology that you can make acquisitions of to strengthen you or even further businesses like this?
Yes, basically we are following a buy and build strategy, and we want to become, as I said before, a provider of holistic solutions for industry. So when we started with the Framel Collector many years back, we quickly understood that industries has a lot of different issues that have to be tackled in the future. It's not only process heat or electricity, there is more. And getting those valuable contacts at those potential customers, at multinationals, takes some time. And it would be a pity if you only have one product to offer when you finally find the right person in a company. And as such, we want to be more efficient in terms of sales.
Yeah, I understand. Very interesting. How has this COVID-19 and the corona pandemic affected your business? Has it affected you at all, or?
Yes, it's affecting us. Industrial Solar is more affected than Solar Spring, I would say. I mean, basically, Industrial Solar is offering solar process heat systems which are replacing fossil fuel. Fossil fuel is very inexpensive lately due to the corona crisis. So the consumption or the demand has dropped. And this is an issue. And also our customers, industrial customers, either they have lower turnover due to corona, or they're busy because they have higher turnover, like food industry or some others, or toilet paper industry. So they don't have the resources to think about renewable energy systems. And I think, yeah, this will affect our development in 2020 because we are not a must-have. We are still a kind of nice to have, and we do need carbon taxes, reasonable price for carbon emissions to really take off.
Yeah. Okay. So you think also that the sales cycle may be longer now for you guys as well, right?
Yes, this is going to happen, but still there are the early adapters. So I'm really glad that there are companies out there in the world that want to be ahead of the pack, that want to be a good example for the others. Companies that can afford to do so. And basically, we don't need so many customers for the time being. So we are happy when we can get hold of a couple of early adapters. And also a very big or important activity now is some funded R&D projects. So we are members of consortia of two large European funded R&D projects, which are helping us to further develop our technology in the next months when there is less demand from the market due to COVID-19.
Okay, very interesting, Christian. I also have another question. It's regarding the European Union and this huge Green Deal. Do you think that will affect you in the next couple of years, or how will you how will you be a winner of that enormous project?
I mean, we are doing the utmost to be in a pole position when this race starts.
Yeah.
We are already aware of some European programs, and we try to stay alert and try to get the informations as soon as they're available, and try to be one of the first ones to make use of such programs, of course.
Yeah, but it will take some time, do you think, or when will we see the first effects?
It's hard to predict, so we hope that it's not taking too long. I think it doesn't make sense to have a economic program to restart economy in 1 year. I mean, now the economy is affected by the COVID-19, and politicians have to act fast. And I do expect, end of 2020, we should see something. I would say we have to see something.
Yeah, that's good. Another one. When it comes to your business model, do you think is it the emerging market that will be the biggest market, or is it more mature markets like the European Union, which will be your main markets going forward?
I think in the early phase it will more likely be European Union, more the developed markets where people and industry can afford better to invest in a reduction of their emissions to become greener and cleaner. The public is more aware of problems, whereas in emerging markets, people are struggling for survival, and environment is typically not the first problem that you have. And I do believe that the more developed countries will help us to grow the company. And then later on, I think the big market will open up in the emerging markets.
Yeah, but it will take some time. You think the more mature markets is more will lead the way, right?
Rome wasn't built in a day, and if you try to sell solar technologies to industry, it takes some time. Unfortunately, it's a slow business, slowly picking up, because it's still more profitable to burn fossil fuels.
Yeah. You're listed on Spotlight here in Sweden, and we have a couple of companies like yours, which is foreign-run companies, but listed in Sweden. Do you have any plans to list your stock also in Germany, for example, which is your home market, or?
So I think I cannot comment on that yet. But of course, it would be beneficial for us if more people could have access to our stocks. I mean, now it's Spotlight, it's rather limited to Sweden. I'm very grateful for that possibility that we Spotlight and have with Spotlight. Yeah. Spotlight is a great stock exchange. They're giving great support for young companies, and I really appreciate it. So I don't want to turn the back on them, but of course, thinking in the future, it would be definitely beneficial for our company if more people worldwide could buy our shares. Definitely.
Okay. Thank you very much, Christian, and Daniel as well. It was very interesting to listen to you guys, and have a nice summer.